Welcome to Captain Dorja's Armory. This is Captain Dorja. We're gonna take a look at a couple of different battles in IS class tanks. One in the IS, which you can see right here. This is a Soviet Tier 7 heavy tank. Of the Soviet Tier 7 heavies, it's the faster, less armored version. The KV-3 being the heavily armored, much more slow tank. The other thing we're going to be looking at is we're going to look at an IS-6 battle. The IS-6 is a Soviet Tier 8 premium tank. These IS tanks are best played very aggressively. This map is a really good map for an IS class tank. This is Ruinberg on a standard battle, and you can see from the matchmaker, the matchmaking has been fairly generous. A lot of Tier 7s with most of the Tier 6s supporting them. No Tier 8s, no Tier 9s. The IS is basically screwed when it has to fight Tier 9s. Its armor and HP only really allow it to take about 2 hits, and then it's going to be an easy one-shot kill. And the gun penetration is very bad, so you essentially can't engage any target from the front. And even some from the side are difficult. Now you can see right here, we've encountered quite a few enemies on this corner, and they have a superior position as far as cover goes, and they also have much more accurate guns, which enable them to engage me in a sort of mid-range sniper battle, and they have all the advantages. So I do not consent to fight on that corner against the AMX M4 1945 and the T29 because they would destroy me. I need to get this thing close where its accuracy and aiming time aren't a factor. So I decided to come to this corner and see if I can get some derp in on the enemy IS-2 and T20. So I actually do come around this corner and put one into the T20, but after being shot by the T20, I realized that my health is already too low to be doing that kind of thing. I don't want to stay on this corner either now. But luckily for me, my team is making quite a good push on this road right here in the middle where I'd already abandoned, so I decided to come with him. And there's an example of the accuracy of this gun. I was only at about 50 meters from the T29 and I managed to miss. But all is not lost. The Hellcat finishes the T29, and I'm now in point-blank range with this M4. And you can see that the M4 took a volley from our team, and it left him on 20 health. So, a few minutes ago, he was in a situation that was very advantageous to him, and just with a little bit of maneuvering, we turned it around and made it a situation very advantageous to us. So now this IS-2 driver is in a bad spot. He's essentially alone versus myself and a Tiger and an SE-100Y. This is not a battle that IS-2 is going to be able to win. We're punishing him hard. The Tiger finishes him off. This enemy KV-1S comes up in support. The KV-1S is a very dangerous tank. It's essentially an IS at Tier 6. But I see the enemy Type 58 trying to flank, then I reverse over and put a shot into him. He's now dead. We're looking pretty secure right here. This is something about to happen that's pretty weird. I fire on the move with the KV-1S and I miss. And you can see right there, he had plenty of time to shoot at me, but he never even fired. And he had to have been loaded, so I'm not sure what his deal was, but he could have just dropped me to about 100 health. That would have been a really good thing for his team, but he didn't take the shot, and I'm not sure why. Now, you can see here the KV-1S has backed off, and a 3001H has come up. And with my low health, that 3001H potentially could have been very dangerous, but the shot that I've put into him has reduced his health by half, and he's a lot less excited about the idea of poking around that corner and fighting me, so he backs off. The KV-1S is taking more damage. He's down to 77 health. And I see right here, this enemy M41, and he is exposed enough for me to kill him. And if you watch the chat, you'll see that he was not pleased by that. Yeah, it happens. I'm not sure if he tried to fire a TD shot at me, but it missed or what. But I'm fine, and he's dead. So we're able to get one into the Tiger right there. Playing a little conservative here, just because two factors. First of all, that 3001H he's been bouncing off me every shot he's fired, but potentially he could be pretty dangerous. So I don't want to underestimate him and die. And secondly, my team has the artillery advantage, and their team has the tank advantage. And on Ruinberg, the tank advantage is a lot more weighty than the artillery advantage. So I don't want to get caught out by any of their tanks and get put into a bad situation. So I'm playing fairly conservatively. I decided to back off and sort of link up here. And again, I don't know what this KV-1S was doing, but he should have just killed me. I got caught out typing in the chat and was very lucky that that KV-1S just has some sort of disease that prevents him from pulling the trigger. Now, we're about to see something that really drives me crazy about this game. So, in the chat, there's been a little debate going on about whether patch 1.6 is going to make artillery more or less accurate. You can see right there what I just said. Because of the changes in shell dispersion, several people are contending that artillery is actually going to become more accurate. And the enemy IS-2 driver, Anarchy X F-36, is about to be incredibly rude. More, like, just to the point where if somebody spoke to me like that in real life, especially some person that I had known, you know, if it was one of my friends and I knew they were joking, I wouldn't care. But if a random person walked up to me like that, I would hit them in the face. Look at this. He goes, "Captain, do you really have your head up your ass for the warmth of the view?" Like, what a jackass. All I can say to that guy is, that guy's a jackass. Like, if he were to say, stumble into a pit and break all the bones in his body and then drowned in a puddle of his own urine, I'd probably be pretty happy. And the other thing that makes me laugh is he keeps telling me that I need to not run my mouth and I need to watch the latest ASAP video. Well, I had watched the ASAP video. I'd watched it twice, and in it, the guy says that changes will not be applied to artillery, and he says that they will be applied to artillery. So, Anarchy, you can go suck my dick, because A, you're wrong, B, I killed you, and C, this was a really awesome game, and I don't think your retardation and gigantically epic douchebaggery should be able to spoil that much more. Right. So that was the IS on Ruinberg, and half of the reason why that was the IS on Ruinberg is because that was a fun match. The other half of the reason why is because I just had to put it out there. If you're as much of an epic D-bag as Anarchy X, you probably should, you probably need to reevaluate the way you treat other people. Just because we're on the internet doesn't give you a license to be the world's biggest fag. Right, so Angry Captain is gone away. Now it's time for IS-6. Now the IS-6 plays quite a bit like the IS, with the exception of the fact that the IS is very mediocre in the armor department, and the IS-6 is actually pretty well armored. They have the same gun, they need to fight in the same way, close quarters, all that good stuff. Whereas Ruinberg is a map that's very favorable to IS-class tanks. El Haluf is a map which is very unfavorable towards IS-class tanks. IS-class tanks are not good with gun depression and long-range combat, and a lot of this map features long-range combat, and gun depression is a huge factor. So I decided to do something unorthodox with my IS-6 on this match, which is, as you can see, I'm going down into the creek bed. Normally I don't do that with a heavy tank, but what I've decided is I would rather be playing an offensive role than getting into a war of attrition at A3. That's really boring, and I do it a lot. I don't want to do that. Another reason why I decide to come down here, even though it's fairly risky, is first of all, I started in a good position to do it. Secondly, I'm in a pretty fast heavy, so I feel like I ought to be able to make it. Third, everything that the enemy team has that would come down to this place to engage me is exactly the type of thing that you want to fight with an IS-6. A T-20, a KV-1S, little tier 6s, you know, those things are not a threat at all, and I can just crush them. The M26 Pershing, as far as their mediums go, is the only one that's any real threat to me. And if we basically get into a slugging fest, I will come out on top every time with an IS-6. So, down here at the bottom of the hill, just kind of trying to figure out what's going on. Now, I want to start pushing up this road, but I don't want to do it until I know a couple of things. First of all, I want to know what the enemy has to oppose me. The only things I've spotted are an EZ-8 and a 2801. I also really shouldn't be coming up here until I know that the 2801 is dead, because that 2801 is watching. And I found him. I've got him in my sights. I snap off a non-fully aimed shot at him, and I'm rewarded with the kill. Now you can see what's come up to fight me. A Jagdpanzer IV, he's backing off. And there's a Tiger up there. We know there's an EZ-8 around. The 222 damage hit that I took earlier, I'm thinking that was probably from the Tiger. So I decide that I've got enough intel, and I can start going up the hill. As you can see, the only backup I have is a sniping T-29 and potential Hummel intervention. So I'm doing this completely alone. Luckily for me, there's not a whole lot on this team that I'm really that worried about. The Tiger II is the biggest threat, and he's not here. The reason why the Tiger II is such a big threat to me is in a frontal engagement, without using premium ammo, it's very difficult to penetrate a Tiger II with this gun, even at close range. And the Tiger II has no problem penetrating my armor with every single shot he fires. So, Tiger II is a very dangerous opponent when you're in an IS-6. Along the same vein, a Jagdtiger 88 is actually quite a dangerous opponent with this tank as well. You can see right there, I fire at the upper plate. I was trying to get his machine gun ball, but I aimed a little too far to the right. And my shot bounced off him. The Jagdtiger 88's upper plate is the same as the Tiger II's. So if I'm having problems with the Jag-88, that means I would be having problems with the Tiger II as well. I'm able to put a good shot through the lower plate of the Jag-88, and my T-29 buddy finishes off the 3001H that I'd shot earlier. And this is where you see something very dangerous. This Jag-88, he has really good damage per minute, and he's got a lot of health and he's got quite a lot of armor. So, if you take a look right there, you can see he was able to do about 700 damage to me, give or take, and he's left me on only 407 health. We were able to kill the Jagdtiger 88, but really, he's done a lot of, he did good work on me right there. I may have came out alive, but I'm substantially weakened, and you can see from looking at my tank that basically every single shot that Jag-88 fired at me penetrated no problem. One of those frontal hits, one of those frontal penetrating hits, is a shot from somebody else, and the bounce was from the 3001H. So you can see that, actually it looks like the one hit on my gun mantlet is probably from the Jag-88, and it looks like it got eaten by spaced armor effects. Anyway, back to the match at hand. I've taken the road, and it's time to push. Our team is down 7-8. The enemy's taken A3, and they're pushing up on our plateau. So what I need to do is, since I'm over here basically alone and unsupported, is I need to counter push and try and get these guys to realize that the pressure is on them. Now, one thing that just made that a heck of a lot easier is our friendly SU-122-44 has knocked out the enemy KV-1S and the enemy EZ-8. So the attack on our base has been defeated. We now just need to clean up. I managed to clean up a Jagdpanzer IV. I'm on 4 kills. There's only 3 enemies left, a T-20, the Tier 5 Arty, and a T-29. And we spot the artillery, and he is running like a coward. Not that I blame him. If I'm in an Arty, I do not want to be getting into a gunfight with an IS-6. So he tries to sneak around and put a TD mode shot into me, but I'm having none of that. Polish him off, up to 5 kills now. Now, this is a dangerous situation. We can see that T-29 right there, and I scope in to see what he's doing real quick. He is hull down, and he wants to get into a sniper battle. Well, my gun's got an accuracy of, I think, .46. It might be a little better than that, but I'm talking a little better than that. I can't penetrate the armor on his turret. I'm nowhere near accurate enough to hit his turret weak spots. I'm not going to get in a sniper battle with him. I'm going to close the range. And the terrain right there allowed me to get close as best as I could without really exposing too much. And unfortunately, I find the T-20 as well. This could be dangerous. A combo shot from them, and I'm dead. And the T-20 has just put a good hit into me. I decided to deal with the T-20 first. Put a ram into him, put a shot into him. Hellcat puts one into him as well. I ram him. That gets him down real low. Teammate puts another shot into the T-20. I finish him off, and then the T-29's coming around behind me. And I start using this destroyed building. I'm trying to keep this destroyed building between me and his gun. And as you can see, it's working. Our Hellcat is going in to distract. I see the T-29 fire at the Hellcat. I take my chance. I move in. I put a big hit onto the T-29. The Hellcat's still mixing it up with him. The Jackson's coming in. This T-29 knows it's all over. He's just trying to take us down with him. And I polish off the T-29 with my final shot. 7 kills, 4,375 damage. That was also a Top Gun sniper. That was a really, really good match. We had some good play from a lot of our team members. The base defenders who stopped the attack in A5, mad props to those guys. It's nice to see a I don't know, like an emergency defense come together basically and win. Also, it's nice to see them roll out and come into support, because without the support from the Hellcat and the 122-44, I would have been killed by that T-29, especially when the Hellcat raced in and face-hugged the T-29 and took that shot. That was just amazing team play by that M18 Hellcat, basically allowing me to survive. So that was a really good game, a really fun game, and kind of an unusual heavy tank game on Al Haluf. You don't see heavy tanks going into the river that often, but for a short-range aggressor combatant like the IS-6, especially one that's relatively mobile, I think, matchmaker permitting, that's a very good move. The enemy had nothing really that could oppose me down there, and I was able to get in close where my tank needs to be, and I was able to be the aggressor like my tank needs to be, and I think the results speak for themselves. So that's all for now. I hope you enjoyed my IS class videos from today, and just remember, guys, you can never have enough big guns.